So I was born on the 29th of July 1997. I was the last to be born into my family, so of course I've always been called the baby of the family. I have 3 older siblings. I have a sister who is 10 years older than me and 2 older brothers, one who is 8 years older and one who is 5 years older. Luckily, we always seem to get on okay. Our first and only full family holiday abroad is one of my earliest memories. I was 4 and we travelled to Spain. The only real memory I have from this holiday is going to Barcelona to see the fountains. I remember wanting to run up to the fountains to get a closer look and my parents trying to keep all of us together. It must have been a difficult job with me trying to leave every 5 seconds and 3 other children that they needed to look after. Moving on to primary school, I don't have the best memory of primary school, but the biggest memory was my best friend at the time, Beth. We used to be inseparable at school and we used to always play games together at playtime, such as playing with the skipping rope. There was also a maze painted on the playground floor, which I remember loving. Thinking back to it now, I don't know how we found so much enjoyment out of the same maze every single day. We also had a play area, which had bars that people used to hang upside down on. I always wanted to be able to do it, but I was never brave enough, and still to this day, hanging upside down on a bar would probably freak me out a lot. When primary school came to an end, I was one of the few people going to a different secondary school than everyone else. This meant losing my best friend. We tried to stay in contact by emailing each other, but it didn't last very long and we ended up just drifting apart. Moving on to my second family holiday, we travelled from that blob which was meant to be the UK to those other blobs which are meant to be the Greek islands, and we travelled to Crete. This was a 4-hour plane journey, which to this day is still the longest flight I've ever been on. While we were there, we stayed in apartments. Myself, my mum and my dad were in one, and both of my brothers were in the other. Unfortunately, my sister didn't come with us for this holiday. However, we did go with my auntie and 4 of my cousins, so that was really nice. One memory that has always stuck with me was one of our bus journeys in Greece. The only people I remember being there was myself, my cousin, my mum and my dad. The bus driver said that children under 6 could go free, so my dad tried to say that we were 5 when we weren't, but we could have got away with it. That was until my cousin shouted out that we were older, and then we did have to pay. Oops. Now we're moving on to secondary school. This was a big change for me, chucked in with loads of new people that I didn't know, and it really scared me. Luckily, on my first day, I was in tutor and sat next to a girl called Frankie. All I remember is asking what lesson she had first, and we were in the exact same one. It wasn't until later that day that we then realised we actually had the exact same timetable for all week. At this moment, we knew we had to be BFF. Along with secondary school also came my first boyfriend. I met him on holiday and it became a long distance relationship. However, it didn't end well and he ended up being a complete bum basically. Secondary school also taught me a lot about friendship and the fact that some people may not like you for no reason. This was a hard time for me as I felt really lonely. Luckily I found some nicer people to be around, but I still find it hard to trust friends completely, which makes it a lot harder to even make friends now. I was really excited to start college because I wanted to be around new people and have a fresh start. I ended up making a lot of great friends and I even met someone who was pretty amazing. We were together for nearly 2 years, which was great, but it got to a point where the relationship didn't feel right anymore and I felt like I needed time by myself to try and build up my confidence. And this might sound strange to some people, but it's definitely what I needed. After college came the biggest change of my life so far, moving away to uni. It was the strangest and scariest feeling having to find a flat with random people and moving away to Bournemouth. Luckily, one of my flatmates I get on with really well and he's now my house bestie. I don't think I could have got through the first year if it wasn't for him. I study graphic design at uni and I've met some lovely people on my course. 2 of them are also going to be living with me for second year along with Liam, which I'm very excited for. So now that we come to the most recent part of my life, I'm 18, I got a 2-1 for my first year at uni, and I now have 4 months until I start second year of uni. So with all of this spare time that I now have, I've decided that it would be a good idea to start a YouTube channel, as it is something that I've always wanted to do, and I am very glad that I have done it. I'm awful at coming up with names, so I chose my YouTube username as Beth with a dot at the end, just to make it a little bit more interesting. I got myself a vlogging camera and now I've started my little YouTube journey. I like to think of my videos as little personal diaries that I can look back on in the future. currently have 126 subscribers, but my aim is to get to 1,000. I think it might take a while, but that is what my aim is for my little YouTube channel. So that is the end of the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to see more. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support so far. See you next week with another video. I'm loving this Tanya Burr lip gloss in the colour Picnic